Hi guys, welcome to Total Coffee. So welcome to the sixth part of how to start a coffee roasting business. So in the previous parts, we had spoken about how to procure green beans, inventory management, and whether to roast it ourselves or not. So in this part, we are going to talk about what to do after we made that decision. So Suhas, I have procured coffee. I have made the decision. I am going to roast it myself, or like tell someone else to roast it, or white label it.
Yeah.
Anything I choose.
Okay.
But I need to know my green beans in detail, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So previously we had spoken like based on the things like quantity and availability, etc.
Yeah.
I chose which
Sure.
green beans.
Sure.
But before roasting, I need to know the physical and chemical properties.
Yeah. Of course.
Like of the green
Green
beans,
beans.
right?
Yeah.
So can you tell me more about it?
So I would simply compare it to you getting married or Karthik getting married or anybody getting married, right? So before you get married, you take him or her on a date. Why do you do that? Because you want to get to know them before you get married. So before you get married to your coffee, that is with lakhs and lakhs of rupees before you get married to that coffee by buying it and then storing it and then selling it, you need to take the coffee out on a date. So you take the green coffee out on a date basically to understand how the coffee is. Basically to understand what are the good qualities, what are the bad qualities, because you'll have to live with the bad qualities as well.
Correct.
After you launch your brand, right?
Correct.
So you'll have to answer your customers about the bad things about the coffee that you're going to buy. So what is taking a coffee out on a date? So you try to understand different characteristics of the coffee, pros and cons, like I said, and then take a decision if you want to marry the coffee or not, right?
Okay.
So as simple as that. The couple of things that you look for when you buy the green beans. First thing is you check your moisture. We'll deep dive into each of these things as well.
Okay.
You check moisture, you check density, you check altitude as well of where the coffee is grown.
Correct. That will make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Different altitudes tend to give different characteristics in the coffee.
Right.
This is a known fact. There is no fixed rule per se that this altitude has to give this flavor. But however, there are pretty much all the countries will have a generic flavor note for the certain for a certain altitude that it is grown in. Right. And also we look at defects. We already spoke about how does it qualify for commercial and specialty. So I would not talk more about it again.
Yeah.
So
otherwise our audience will get bored.
Yeah. I don't want to put you to sleep, so I will not talk about that again. It's in one of the episodes we spoke before, so you can scroll back and then check that episode.
Or you can click over there. It will
Yes.
be somewhere around there.
Over here maybe. Yeah, Anish, it's your job to get it over there, right? So I'll deep dive into the three things that we check. We check the moisture. The moisture content that is acceptable in India is between 10% to 14.5%, depending on the coffee. 14.5% is like the monsoon Malabar. So as high as 14.5% for a monsoon Malabar is still acceptable, but for a washed coffee, 10.5 is what is acceptable, right? But at a global standard, it is between 10 to 12% is what is acceptable for most of the coffees. And monsoon Malabar, like pretty much a lot of our viewers would know, is a GI tag product and it is unique to India, like champagne or bourbon or scotch. Right, so no monsoon Malabar cannot be made anywhere else in the world. So moisture content needs to be somewhere in between this for a good coffee. You check the moisture content and you buy the coffee.
How do I check the moisture of my coffee?
A good question. I was almost going to forget that. So to check the moisture of
because like I can't just see and tell, this has 11%.
Absolutely. Yeah, true. So you need equipments for checking the moisture. Here in front of me is one kind of equipment which checks moisture and density. That one over there also checks moisture.
Okay.
So you need simple contraptions like this to check the moisture.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward. You put in the coffee, you hit a button, and it shows you how much of moisture it contains.
Okay.
Right. So some of the drawbacks of having higher moisture or low moisture content coffees tend to roast very quickly.
Okay.
Would have lost a lot of flavor. Would not roast particularly well, or would not roast consistent from batch to batch.
Okay.
Low moisture, high moisture also, you run the risk of the coffee tasting very grassy. Very vegetable sort of tasting notes end up showing up in the coffee. The heat conduction inside the roaster itself gets affected by a lot of moisture content.
Okay.
So there are a lot of drawbacks if you have low moisture or high moisture.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So one quick way of troubleshooting when there is high moisture is by drying it up again in the sun to bring it to the moisture content that you need.
Okay.
But that's a whole topic by itself as to what are the drawbacks of doing that.
Okay.
So we'll discuss probably in a video further. Next thing is density,
Density.
right? So what have you heard about density till date?
Okay, so what I have heard about density is like in growing, the higher I go, like altitude wise,
Yeah.
my beans will have higher density.
Yeah.
And I can play around more with the coffee.
Correct.
Because if my coffee is like having low density, I cannot play much with it. Like I cannot go darker roast. There's a chance my coffee will like I'll get broken bits of coffee.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that is what I've heard, and that is what I know, and
Yeah.
especially about monsoon Malabar as it absorbs all the moisture. That also makes it very like low in density.
True.
Yeah. So that is why most of the monsoon Malabars we see are never roasted dark.
Correct.
So yeah, that is what I know.
Yeah, correct. So whatever you said is pretty much everything is correct. And also by and large, the people in the industry believe that high density coffees are better to roast or better flavor, better tasting. But I disagree with that fact. It's just that low density coffees need to be treated in a different way, need to be roasted in a different way. Low density coffees can also taste equally complex and equally good as a high density coffee, except that roasting it is tricky. I experienced roaster can really work with low density coffees and bring out really good things about it, right? So high density coffees generally are grown at a higher altitude because of lower temperatures. The sugars and nutrients are retained in the coffee.
Right.
Hence, the cellular activity is lower at lower temperatures. So the density of the coffee bean is higher. Whereas the lower altitude, the cellular activity is quite high. So because of the plant cellular activity being high, the sugars and the nutrition is used up by the plant. So that's how the bean ends up getting a lower density coffee. And monsoon Malabar, like we all know, it's a process where it is monsoon, the coffee is monsoon, which gains a lot of moisture and then loses density, right? So if I were to suggest like, hey, pick up a coffee with this density, I would not do that. It would be wrong to be doing that because I've tasted low density coffees tasting amazing. I've tasted high density coffees tasting average. And bad as well sometimes. So I would not want you to base your decision of buying on just the density, but I would want you to base your roasting style or the method of roasting according to the density. Tomorrow some planter brings you a low density coffee, don't reject the coffee right away. Cup them, sample roast them, cup them, and then decide if you should buy that or not. Right. So
and so we spoke about moisture and density, but there is also one point like the size of the bean. So how does the size of the bean affect the flavor?
So usually in commercial coffee, size is considered. Most of the commercial roasters look for different size coffees. Also going to say that smaller sized coffees roast differently than the bigger ones.
Correct.
So you will see commercial roasters making a blend of different sized coffees. The smaller coffees usually tend to have higher body, higher aftertaste than the bigger beans. But however, in specialty coffee, we don't really bother with the bean size at all, because now by and large, specialty roasters have seen around the world that small tiny beans also tasting really really complex and really good, and big size beans tasting very average as well. So what we will do is, we will put together a document for you to understand bean sizes, because that's quite a lengthy discussion by itself. But it is very necessary for a roaster, specialty or commercial roaster, to know about different size beans. We'll put up that document on Total Coffee, which you can download and save with you, keep it with you, so that when you're buying your coffees, you can always use that as a reference, and then see which size defines AA, which size defines AAA, A, B, C, etc. And again, different processes have different sizes, seed sizes, etc. So that's a big discussion. I don't want to confuse you all with that. It's a very easy read. So before you go to bed, you can just read that document and then go to bed. So we'll put that up as a download on total.coffee.
Yes.
All right. So head down there, and the Total probably will also leave a link below, where you can click and straight go to that page to download the document. So Anish, would you be able to take the coffee on a date now and then understand what a good coffee or a bad coffee it is?
Yes.
Yeah?
And then maybe I can decide how to marry the coffee.
Yeah,
like light
exactly.
roast, medium or dark.
Yeah, that comes at the very end, right? So once you buy the coffee, once you say that, hey, my sample roast is tasting really good, there are good characteristics to this coffee, the next step is always where you say, hey, how do I roast this coffee? What sort of a roast profile will work? That experimentation is another topic altogether. After that is when we decide which profile to go for this coffee.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So, do you have any other questions as to how to buy the green beans and what are the things that you need to check?
No, I think now I need to actually take the green beans on a date and then figure it out myself.
Absolutely.
Because I am going to marry the green beans, so I need to know.
Absolutely. So there is no good or bad green bean. It is what you want to bring out in your eventual coffee. So you decide according to that.
Correct.
All right.
Yes.
So guys, if you have any questions at all, look, this sounded quite simple, but there is a lot of intricacies to this whole process. So if you have any questions at all, please make sure you leave it in the comment box, and then we will get back to you with the answers and then help you make an informed decision on how to buy green beans and what are the things that you need to check while you buy green beans. All right. So Anish, so we head off now then, and please make sure you click on the subscribe button if you like what we are talking about. We have more episodes coming up that will discuss more about starting your own coffee roasting business, and do hit the bell icon. We do launch our videos, or we do post our videos twice every week, so that you don't miss any of our videos. Click on that bell icon so that you get a notification as soon as we post one. Until next time, thank you very much guys, and see you all soon.
See you in the next video. Cheers.